Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are putting Samsung's 2025 A series lineup under the microscope. Now, this isn't about those super expensive $1,500 foldables. Nope.
Not today.
This is about the phones that really anchor the global market, the true mid-range, and, well, the economic powerhouses.
Exactly.
Our mission is to analyze 7 distinct models, all priced between, let's say, $100 and that really critical $500 ceiling.
Right. And that under $500 segment, that's where Samsung faces its toughest competition.
Yeah.
It's also where, frankly, they make a lot of their volume, maybe their money.
Yeah.
Their strategy for 2025 seems pretty clear. Offer such a dense, strategically priced stack of devices that basically every potential buyer, whether you prioritize performance or maybe how long the phone lasts or just pure affordability, there's an option tailored for you.
So they're trying to cover all bases.
If they can nail that balance, features, performance, price, across this whole range, they really solidify their market share for the year, no question.
And for you listening in, we're going to cut through all the dense specification sheets. We want to find those specific technical nuggets.
All details.
The details, like maybe a specific processor choice or perhaps a surprise durability upgrade, things that are the true differentiators.
Things that matter day to day.
Exactly. These are the details you need to make a fast, informed decision. So let's start right at the top of this range where Samsung is trying to build, I guess, a premium experience for under $500. Okay. Leading this whole charge, it seems, is the Galaxy A56. This looks like the model that sort of defines the new benchmark for the mid-range. It's sitting right at that $500 mark for the base option.
Right on the edge.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the closest you can get to a flagship feel without actually stepping into S-series territory.
That's the idea. The A56 is really where Samsung pushes the boundaries on performance within this price tier. It's powered by their newest silicon, the Exynos 1580 processor.
Okay, the 1580.
Now, we often talk about chips just in terms of raw power, speed,
Sure.
But here, putting the 1580 in signals, I think, a push toward using those advanced AI capabilities that are starting to trickle down from the flagship S-series.
Ah, so the AI stuff is coming down market.
Exactly. And when you couple that new Exynos architecture with really flexible RAM options, starting strong at 8 gigs, going up to a frankly staggering 12 gigs.
12 gigs in an A series.
Oh, wow. And storage up to 256 gigs. You're looking at a phone that's really designed for pretty intense multitasking, heavy app use, and, future-proofing against demanding OS updates down the line.
Okay, so it's built to last from a performance perspective, but performance is only half the story, right? Because the display, on paper at least, seems really exceptional for this price.
It does.
We're looking at a big screen estimated somewhere between 6.7 and 7 inches. It's using their, stunning AMOLED tech, full HD resolution, and that really essential 120 hertz refresh rate for smooth scrolling.
Yep. All the key ingredients.
But the technical nugget, the thing that really jumped out at me, is the massive jump in brightness.
Yes. That jump to 1900 nits peak brightness is critical. And listeners should absolutely care about this number.
Why specifically? Break that down.
Well, okay, to put it in context, right? That level of brightness was basically flagship only, like maybe 2 generations ago.
Okay.
So why does it matter to you? First, looking at your screen outdoors, bright sunlight, effortless. The screen just won't wash out.
Okay, that's practical.
Second, and maybe more important if you watch a lot of videos or movies on your phone, it allows for much better rendering of HDR content. High dynamic range.
Right.
It makes colors pop more, shadow details are crisper.
Yeah.
It basically ensures you get a premium visual experience in pretty much any lighting condition.
Got it. And we also need to touch on the software integration here. The A56, it launches with the new One UI 7 interface.
Correct. And it comes, importantly, immediately integrated with those Galaxy AI smart features. This is Samsung showing that their big software advancements, the AI stuff, are flowing straight into the volume market. They're not just keeping it for the top-tier S or Z phones.
That's a smart strategic move, isn't it?
It is. The ability to do things like, say, instant language translation on the device or advanced photo editing using AI, that's a significant selling point.
Yeah.
And it leverages that Exynos 1580 power we talked about.
Right.
Now, for power and camera, the A56 keeps that consistent, massive battery cell, 5,000 milliwatt capacity. And critically, it supports 45W fast charging.
Okay, 45 watts. That's pretty quick.
It is. We need to remember 45W is traditionally reserved for phones costing like well over $700. So getting quick top-ups is a reality here.
And the camera specs. Sounds like they're getting a bit of a premium injection, too.
They are. It features the standard 50MP main camera, but sources are confirming this uses a physically larger sensor than previous A-series models.
Okay, hold on. Why is sensor size maybe more important than just the megapixel count?
Good question. A larger sensor fundamentally just captures more light.
Okay.
That directly leads to better low-light performance, much better, and richer color depth in your photos. It's not just about detail, it's about quality of light.
Gotcha.
And that main sensor is backed by a pretty respectable 12MP ultra-wide lens. There's a dedicated macro shooter, and the front camera, the selfie camera, is also upgraded to 12MP, again with a larger sensor for clearer selfies.
So the A56 really sounds like it's pushing that near flagship experience right at the $500 mark.
It absolutely defines it, I think.
Okay, now let's talk about its sibling, the Galaxy A36. This is the device sitting just below it, positioned as, I guess, the balanced alternative, starts a bit lower, $430.
Yep, $70 cheaper.
So to save that $70, Samsung had to make one or two pretty significant adjustments, I assume.
The main one, the biggest one, is the processor.
Oh.
And it's a really strategic choice, I think.
Okay.
While the A56 goes for that peak power with the Exynos 1580, the A36 uses a Qualcomm chip, the Snapdragon 6 Gen 3.
Snapdragon, so different flavor.
Different flavor. Now, on paper, if you just look at benchmark scores or, synthetic tests, the Snapdragon chip offers less raw processing muscle, no doubt.
Right.
However, if we shift the focus from just pure speed to, say, efficiency, this chip is fantastic.
How so?
Our analysis suggests the Snapdragon 6 Gen 3 provides demonstrably better energy efficiency, like noticeably better.
Okay.
So for a user whose main thing is like social media, browsing, streaming video, casual apps, this chip delivers phenomenal battery longevity.
Okay. I think that's a really crucial distinction for the listener, right? You might lose a few frames per second if you're trying to push, like, the most demanding games on max settings.
Correct.
But you might gain, maybe 2 full hours of screen on time compared to the more power-hungry Exynos?
Potentially, yeah. It's a trade-off that's tailored specifically for the user who prioritizes endurance.
Yeah.
The battery life champion, maybe.
Makes sense.
Exactly. And Samsung was careful, it seems, not to really diminish the visual experience. The display stays identical to the A56 in the core specs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 6.7 to 7 inches, AMOLED, Full HD, and that 120 hertz refresh rate. They know smooth scrolling and a great screen are basically non-negotiable for people spending over, say, $400 now.
Right. So if the screens are the same, where else did they trim the cost? $70 has to come from somewhere.
It's mainly the camera system. That's the other big area.
Okay.
Well, it keeps the excellent 50MP main camera, same one as the A56. We think the ultra-wide lens gets a significant downgrade.
How significant?
It drops from the A56's 12MP resolution all the way down to just 5MP.
Ooh, 5 megapixels. That's quite a drop.
It is. Now, 5 megapixels is like functionally the minimum threshold for a useful ultra-wide. It's there, it ticks the box on the spec sheet,
Right.
but it's not going to deliver really high-quality, detailed landscape shots, especially if the lighting isn't perfect.
Okay.
Forget about low light.
Okay. And the front camera?
That stays consistent at 12MP, so selfies should still be decent.
But they kept the power setup consistent, which is great. That standard, massive 5,000 milliamp battery capacity and the quick 45W charging are still on the A36.
Yep, battery and charging speed are maintained. Which brings us back to the core decision for you, the listener, shopping between $430 and $500. That $70 difference is basically buying you two things. One, that higher raw processing ceiling of the Exynos 1580, if you need it for demanding tasks or gaming.
Right.
And two, a significantly better, higher quality 12MP ultra-wide camera.
So if you're an active photographer, someone who loves capturing scenery, wide shots, the A56 probably justifies that extra cost.
You say so, yeah. But if you're a more typical user, you mainly rely on the main camera lens, and you really value efficiency in saving that $70. The A36 looks like a very smart, very balanced purchase.
Okay, let's navigate down the price ladder now into what I call the core value zone.
Right, the sweet spot for many.
This is where sacrifices, they have to be made, but it's also where Samsung can really define its leadership position. We start with the Galaxy A26, priced at $315.
Okay.
Now, jumping down from the A36, we notice two immediate things. First, the charging speed drops from 45W down to 25W.
Yep, that's one saving.
And second, the processor steps down from that Snapdragon 6 Gen 3.
That's right. Those are the strategic cost reductions to hit that $315 price point.
Yeah.
But what makes the A26 a really major story, I think, is that it brings something completely new to this particular segment.
Oh, what's that?
A dramatic leap in aesthetics and durability, build quality.
Ah, okay. Samsung's been kind of challenged on the build quality of its mid-rangers sometimes, hasn't it? Felt a bit plasticky.
They have for years.
Yeah.
And the A26 looks like their direct answer.
They introduced a glass back, didn't they?
Yes. For the first time in this specific A20 series line, the A26 features a glass back. And the protection, front and back, is Gorilla Glass Victus Plus.
Victus Plus at $315. That sounds premium.
It is. While the internal frame is still plastic, using Victus Plus protection at this price point is, frankly, groundbreaking. That level of advanced durability, much better scratch and drop resistance, is usually reserved for top-tier flagships costing, $800 plus.
Right.
Samsung is essentially challenging the idea that a mid-range phone has to feel cheap or be super fragile.
That immediately sets it apart, doesn't it? Performance-wise, though, it uses the Exynos 1380 processor, built on 5mm architecture. Can you quickly explain what 5mm implies for someone who isn't deep into chip specs?
Sure. Basically, the smaller the fabrication process, 5 nanometers, compared to, say, 7 or 8 nanometers, the more transistors you can cram into the same physical space on the chip.
Okay.
This generally leads to better performance, sure. But maybe more importantly, at this price point, it means much better thermal management, less overheating, and improved energy efficiency.
Got it. So it runs cooler and sips less power.
Pretty much. Yeah. So the Exynos 1380 is a strong, efficient workhorse for all your daily tasks. And it supports decent RAM options too, 6 or 8 gigabyte.
And impressively, the display specs seem to remain top tier for this price bracket. We still get that large 6.7 to 7-inch AMOLED screen, full HD plus resolution, and they maintain the 120 Hz refresh rate.
Yeah, it seems Samsung is absolutely committed to making 120 Hz the new standard, at least for the upper half of the A series. Over $300, you get 120 Hz.
That's fantastic for the consumer.
It really is. And the camera system here is also incredibly robust for the price. You get a 50MP main lens, an 8MP wide angle, and a macro lens. But the key technical feature here, the second nugget maybe for the listener, is the inclusion of optical image stabilization, OIS.
OIS at $315. Wow. That's usually territory for the A50 series and up, isn't it?
Historically, yes.
Yeah.
And that is a massive quality of life improvement for photography.
How so? What does OIS actually do?
OIS physically stabilizes the main camera lens using tiny motors or gyros. It counteracts your minor hand movements, shakes.
Okay.
This is absolutely critical for shooting clear, stable video and for getting sharp photos in low-light conditions without just relying on software tricks that can sometimes look artificial.
Right. Helps avoid blurry shots when it's dim.
Exactly. And now we get to what might be the most crucial aha moment, the thing that really defines the A26's value proposition.
Go on.
The 6-year commitment to major software updates.
6 years? Seriously?
6 years. It runs Android 15 and One UI 7 right out of the box, and Samsung is guaranteeing support for 6 full years.
Wow. Okay, that commitment changes the entire economic calculation, doesn't it?
Completely. A 6-year promise for security patches and major OS updates at $315. It means this device has a potential lifespan that competitors in this category just can't touch.
Yeah, most budget Androids, you're lucky to get maybe 3 years max.
Right. This is Samsung pushing a massive value proposition, maybe for sustainability-minded people or just budget-conscious consumers who want a phone to last. It transforms the A26 from just a decent mid-ranger into a potential long-term investment.
Okay, so if the A26 is the durability and longevity champion in this tier, let's look at the Galaxy A17 5G. This is the next significant price drop, entering the lower middle range at $250 for the base model.
Right. So to hit that $250 price, Samsung had to make its first major display trade-off in this lineup.
Ah, okay. What is it?
The A17 5G uses the Exynos 1330 processor, which is actually a strong improvement over previous generations in the A1X line, by the way.
Good to know.
But while the screen is still an excellent 6.7 to 7-inch Super AMOLED display with full HD plus resolution, the refresh rate drops from 120 Hz down to 90 Hz.
Okay, 90 Hz. Is the difference between 120 and 90 Hz really that noticeable for the average person?
Depends on the person.
Yeah.
For a hardcore mobile gamer or someone really sensitive to scroll smoothness, yes, the difference is visible side by side.
Okay.
But for most users just browsing, watching videos, using apps, 90 Hz is still really buttery smooth compared to the old 60 Hz standard from a few years ago. It's generally seen as an acceptable trade-off to save cost.
Gotcha. And the brightness.
That also drops a bit down to a still very respectable 1100 nits. Still good for outdoors, just not quite as blindingly bright as the A56.
It does maintain a good durability profile, though, right? Gorilla Glass Victus protection.
Yes, not Victus Plus like the A26, but still excellent protection at this $250 price point. Way better than standard glass.
And surprisingly, it retains the OIS on the 50MP main camera.
It does, along with a 5MP ultra-wide, same as the A36's, and a 2MP macro. The selfie camera is 13MP.
Okay, the retention of OIS at $250, that feels like the third major nugget here.
It really is. It shows Samsung is serious about democratizing high-quality camera features, making OIS almost standard now.
Yeah.
And what's truly fascinating, confirming the strategy, is the shared longevity promise. The A17 5G also runs Android 15 One UI 7 and promises those same 6 years of major updates.
So the 6-year update isn't just a gimmick for the A26, it's a core feature starting from $250 up.
Exactly. It's a strategic foundation for their entire core lineup, it seems. A massive differentiator.
So, okay, let's compare the A26 $315 and the A17 5G $250. That $65 premium for the A26 basically buys you two main things: the smoother 120 Hz display and that superior Gorilla Glass Victus Plus protection with the glass back.
That's the core difference, yeah.
So for the user who prioritizes camera stability, that OIS and maximum software lifespan, maybe over absolute screen smoothness, or that ultra premium build, the A17 5G looks like the obvious value king here, doesn't it?
I think you've nailed it. The A17 5G offers arguably the most compelling blend of screen quality, still Super AMOLED, camera stability, OIS, and long-term support, 6 years in the entire sub-$300 segment. It's a really strong package.
All right, we're now dipping below that $200 psychological barrier. This is where the competition gets absolutely brutal and every single dollar counts.
Yeah, this is cutthroat territory.
Let's start with the Galaxy A17 4G, priced at just $180.
Okay, the A17 4G. This model is a really fascinating study in market segmentation.
How so?
Because it is almost identical to the A17 5G we just talked about in nearly every important aspect.
Really? Like what?
It shares the same Super AMOLED 90 Hz screen. It has the same 50MP OIS camera system. It has the same large 5,000 mAh battery, the same 25W charging.
Wow.
And crucially, the same critical 6-year update promise.
So if they're almost identical, why the $70 price drop from the A17 5G, which was $250? Where's the catch?
The processor and the lack of 5G.
Huh.
It uses the MediaTek Helio G99 chip. Now, the Helio G99 is a well-regarded, robust, highly efficient 4G-only chip.
Okay.
While it completely lacks 5G connectivity, the G99 is actually excellent for all essential tasks. It offers proven, reliable performance and fantastic power management. Really sips battery.
Right. And for a huge portion of the global audience, maybe 5G coverage is still patchy, or maybe just not necessary if they're mostly on Wi-Fi anyway.
Precisely. By opting for the G99, Samsung saves quite a bit on the cost of the 5G modem and the associated chipset architecture. And they can pass those savings directly on to you, the consumer, while retaining all those other high-value features we just listed: the OIS, the AMOLED